Hello everybody, and again that is the gold chart you see behind me on the screen, and what a crazy week it was. We started at 2400 and we finished at 2400. And the trade setups that I share with you, I often have people ask me, well, how do you do that? You see, I gave a trade setup to buy gold at 2400, and that's where it came on the start of Monday to 2400, and then we went straight up into profit for 3 days. And people ask me, how do you do that? Do you use a crystal ball? No, the crystal ball is not my favorite indicator. In fact, I don't use a crystal ball at all. Some people do. I don't believe in those sorts of things. But if you stay with me, keep watching, and I will share with you what my favorite indicators are. I show you my indicators on every chart that I share my pending orders with you. And in this weekly analysis, I will go ahead and specifically point out what I use. I use mostly support and resistance, and I have made a video to explain to you the 3 different types of support and resistance that we use in Forex trading. And I will leave the link to that video in the description below. And as all of the YouTubers say, well, let's jump in and get started. Yes, here we are with the weekly analysis for Forex starting on the 22nd going through to the 26th of July 2024. We will look at the high impact news that's coming out this week, the profit and loss from last week's trade setups, and the swing trade setups that I have in place, the pending orders, all ready for this upcoming week of Forex trading. And I do all of that to help you make profit with your Forex trading. So as usual, we start off with our go-to website, and that is forexfactory.com, where we have our high impact news. And I've only highlighted one item on here, and that is the interest rate on the Canadian dollar. They call it the BOC rate statement, the overnight rate. It's interest rate, bank rate, all means the same thing. That will be on Wednesday. There's nothing on Monday or Tuesday, but there are various high impact news items on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So just be sure and check forexfactory.com for your local times for these fundamental high impact news items that affect the movement of our currencies and commodities. So let's have a look at last week's trade setups and the profit and loss that we got from those. And as always, I like to look at the 2 indexes. First of all, the DXY, which is the US dollar index. That's the US dollar compared with 6 major currencies. And we've been seeing a decline in the US dollar until the end of last week, and it looks like the US dollar might be strengthening. It certainly looks to be making a change in direction. Whether or not that will continue, only time will tell. So with the strengthening of the US dollar, you would expect that we would be bearish on the major currency pairs, and we will have a deeper look at that when I get into sharing my pending orders with you. And the JPY basket, oh, what's going on with the JPY? My goodness, we've been seeing a decline. Just, you know, it keeps going on. I tell you about this sad story that we've been seeing with the Japanese yen, but it looks like there could possibly be a strengthening of the Japanese yen. Really, wow, amazing. So we can only react to what we see. I do not use a crystal ball and try and predict the market, but with the strengthening of the Japanese yen, that means that we could be bearish on the USD JPY. And we'll have a look at that one also in my pending orders. First of all, looking at XAU USD gold, what happened last week? Well, I gave you a trade, a buy limit at 2,400, and that is where it came on Monday. Went up into profit of 835 pips before making a clear U-turn and coming back down and closing at 2,400 on Friday. So a good run with gold, the continuation of the bullish run that we had been seeing for several days, a couple of weeks, and on last week 835 pips profit on gold. And then looking at the Euro US, we had a buy limit on that one, and that one opened on Tuesday and then went up for 74 pips profit before doing a U-turn and going the opposite direction. And then the odd US was a buy limit, and that one opened but only gave us 22 pips before turning around going the wrong direction. The New Zealand US was a buy limit, and that one did open but only gave us a couple of pips before just immediately going the wrong direction. So on the New Zealand US, yes, we unfortunately hit the stop loss, and that does happen sometimes. That's why you use a stop loss, is to protect your profit. On the pound US, this was a buy limit, and this one is still open. Okay, this one only opened on Friday and went a little bit the wrong direction, but we could see a turnaround next week and that start to go into profit. So this is a trade that opened on Friday and is still open, and I will let that run and see what happens. Then the USD CAD, this was a sell limit, and this one opened on Monday, only gave us 11 pips, so you would have had to be really quick to get out of that one if you had moved your stop loss to break even or let it go a little bit into a loss and then take that out very quickly. Only 11 pips profit on the USD CAD. Then the UJ, well, the UJ, I said no trade, because on the day chart I was looking at bearish indication, but on the 4-hour chart had bullish indication, so no clear direction last week on the UJ. So now let's have a look at the swing trade setups, the pending orders that I have in place for this upcoming week on the Forex market. And just remember that these are my trade setups. This is my perspective. This is how I see the market moving. I'm not suggesting or recommending that you take the same trades. You can if you want to, but it's up to you to use good risk management to manage your own account. Starting off looking at XAU USD gold, and as you can see we have some conflicting signals here after this big move up at the beginning of last week and then a big move down at the end of last week. And by the way, what do you think is the reason for this huge drop? I mean, gold has been bullish for a long time, and it's keeps going up and up and up, higher highs and higher lows, but then suddenly we got an 830 pip drop down on Thursday and Friday. Was that the black swan event, the IT outage that we experienced all over the world? What do you think caused this big drop in gold? Just leave me your comment in below this video. And then, well, I have conflicting signals. Day 1 is bullish, H4 is bearish, but I believe that gold will continue to be bullish for the long term. So I have two entry prices here at the two support zones. The first one is around 23.89. That's our Fibonacci level, 0.5. And then the second one, the second potential entry point, is 23.67. And that would be the next Fibonacci level, the next support level. All right, and that's what I use, support and resistance, in setting up my trades, is the 0.618 level. So it could come down to this one and bounce off and go back up, or it might even continue down to the second support level there. We need to wait and see what the Asian Pacific market will do. And usually when the Asian Pacific market opens on Monday, they will continue the same direction as the Friday close of the US session. So it was very bearish in the Friday closing US session, so we might see a continuing decline at least down to this second support level, 0.618. So be cautious with your gold trade. I would wait and see what the Asian Pacific market does on Monday, and wait and see if we get a turnaround and a continuation of our bullish move. But remember, there's only three things you can do in Forex trading. One is to buy, two is to sell, and three, wait. All right, sometimes we just need to wait and see what the market sentiment is going to be. So looking at the Euro US now, and the trade setup that I have for that one in place, ready to go, is a buy limit. All right, again, conflicting signals on the major pairs. With the Euro US, it's bullish on the day 1 chart, bearish on the 4-hour chart, and oftentimes when you see it bearish on the 4-hour chart, it could be turning bearish on the day chart. However, I have a buy limit on the Euro US, and that would be at the first support level, the 0.382 Fibonacci level, or 1.0840 for a buy limit on the Euro US. And then the odd US, I have a sell limit because there's clear direction on that one With my day chart, it's bearish on the day chart, bearish on the 4-hour chart. So let's let that pullback give us a retracement back to my first resistance level, which is 0.6700, or it could come back all the way to that Fibonacci line there you see, 0.382, which is 0.6725. So a sell limit on the AUD US with two entry prices, two potential entry prices for a continuation of the bearish move on the AUD US. Then the New Zealand US, I have a sell limit on that one also. It's bearish on the day chart and bearish on the 4-hour chart. So again, two prices, two potential entry points for that one with 0.6061 and 0.6035. Two potential entry points for the continuation of the bearish move on the New Zealand US. With the pound US, I have a buy limit on that one. And again, conflicting signals. Bullish on the day chart, bearish on the 4-hour chart, but I have a buy limit. Let's let that one pull back all the way down to our support level at 1.2800. A strong psychological number, a round number which the market likes, and let's see if it will bounce off of that and continue its bullish run. The pound is being very, very strong with the new elections that they've had recently. Then the USD CAD, we've been seeing a bearish move on that one, but now that has turned bullish, okay, with the strengthening of the US dollar. It went up and hit 37.48, okay. It has been higher than that, so we can see higher prices on the USD CAD with the entry price on a buy limit on the UCAD at 1.3700, our major support level, which we can go back and look and see. We've seen it bounce up and down and hang around that level quite a few times. So that's the major support level there for an entry price, a buy limit on the Canadian, the USD CAD, 1.3700. However, remember on Wednesday we do have the Canadian interest rate coming out, and that will usually have quite a big effect on the movement of whatever currency it is related to. So be cautious on the USD CAD. Then the UJ, and this one will surprise a lot of people, I'm sure. Okay, I have a sell limit on the UJ. It looks like we are seeing strengthening of the Japanese yen. You remember I said last week after this big drop on the UJ, I said let's let this play out and see what happens, and it has continued to go down. So it could be that we are starting to see a change in direction that we have not seen for a long, long time. So I have, for the first time in a long time, a sell limit on the UJ with the entry price at 158.75. Now, if you wonder why am I going with that, let me go back and show you another type of indicator that I use, and we'll look at the day chart, which I don't usually show this on my screen, but I'm going to share this with you today because this is one of the types of support and resistance that I use. It's one of the indicators that I use. This is a trend line channel, and this is the UJ on the daily chart, and we had a bullish run that started back in before Christmas. Okay, and it's come up and hit resistance, come back down, hit support, gone up and hit resistance, come back down to support. But recently it seemed to have run out of momentum and could not go back up to the higher prices that it had been making. And what is of consequence, a very, very important, significant factor for my decision is that we have broken the trend line. We have broken major support, which has been holding since before Christmas. All right, so that's one of my key decisions in making the trade setup as a sell limit on the UJ. So that is the third type of support and resistance that I use. It's a trend lines. Okay, sometimes you can have a trend line channel if you want between support and resistance, and also I use the moving averages. The moving averages are support and resistance. They are dynamic support and resistance. Dynamic because they move with the price, whereas a trend line is the same as horizontal support and resistance, except it's diagonal. So just be sure and watch that video that I shared with you earlier on the three types of support and resistance. Okay, that's a wrap for this weekly analysis. I hope that these trade setups that I share with you are beneficial. If you have any comments, leave them below this video and I will get back to you. I hope you have a great week wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again next time in the next video.